Hey guys, welcome back to the Millennial Mentality Podcast. I am your host, Nick Agnelli, here with my co-host, Peter Price.
Ew.
And we are back, baby.
Yee.
Every time we do the boys only episode, like as we continue progressing in this, I get more and more excited about these,
I love these.
you know. And it's not that that's discounting the guests at all, but it's just so nice to, like, as I keep saying, Pete and I's relationship's growing. So it's so nice to kind of just hang out with a really good friend and like chat, you know, and talk about
100%.
time. But also I feel like our conversations are great. We have two way different perspectives.
Yeah, this is fun.
So this is another boys only episode, and we want to give you this, guys, because we feel like there's always a decent amount of both lighthearted, fun, funny, hilarious conversation, and there's also really intense talks about life that we go through.
Yeah.
And it's really good, to reiterate, we're always on kind of different sides of it, but we're kind of getting to the same answer, which I feel like is great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, as I say every episode, for all the love and support. We now have over like 115 subs. We just continuously, slowly growing, and hopefully that when this comes out, we even have more. But it just to see the progression, and like I said, it's really cool. I don't know. There's no other way to say it. You know, I just like Pete and I are texting each other on like Saturday night, like random times about this stuff. You know, it just really excites us. So
yeah, man, it's been great. Thank you guys so much.
And
that being said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes, please do. Tell your friends and family. We say that's the fee on here, just to kind of spread the word, and if you get anything out of it, if not a laugh, just or a note, anything.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna go through kind of again the normal trajectory of our podcast together. I want to start off on a little bit more of a serious note, but then we're going to dive into all different types of topics. So what I wanted to talk about today and get your thoughts on, life isn't easy. I had one of those Mondays today. We record on Mondays, and I had one of those days where like the world was heavy, you know, like everything was really, really heavy. That's just the best way to describe it. And like, adulting's hard as fuck sometimes, man. Like, you know, I got a lot on my plate right now in a good way. Like, as I was telling Paige when I got home today, like it's a good weight, but sometimes I you know, that pressure cracks you, you know, it really just, when you start adding all the things up in your head that's on your to-do list, it really just starts, and then you're really hard on yourself. So then it just really starts pressuring your ass. Mm-hmm. And that's what I felt today, you know, just between, I got a lot of bills right now, which I got money coming in, so money going out, you know, that's just the way it works, but a lot of bills, and, you know, we have 2 weddings, and we have engagement pictures, and my mom, you know, it's just a lot coming up, and we're getting a dog next weekend, which I'm so pumped about.
Hell yeah, I'm stoked for you.
But the reason why I'm saying all this is my problems for a 26, you know, year old kid, or 25, 24, whatever you are, we all kind of got the same big bag of shit on our plate. You know, some days it just feels heavier though. Yeah. So I was going to come here today and just kind of talk to you about me having a shitty day, you know, and saying like, that's okay. You know, it's really okay to just be kind of ticked off for a little bit and feel that stress and feel that weight, let it put a fire under your ass. Right. But to not be like, yo, like my life isn't perfect. Like, you know, it's not like I don't have problems, and I don't have real life shit that stresses me out, you know, and I have an amazing job. I'm engaged. You know, I have a really good relationship with my family and friends, but all that, you know, that work goes into, you know, so sometimes I just feel like, you know, I feel the pressure, and I wanted to come in here. So you guys, when you're going through your everyday lives and you feel that weight, you don't get crushed by it. You know, like you don't let it really get to you, because like everyone feels it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on like that weight.
Well, something that I like that you just said was take that feeling and let it put a fire under your ass, you know? Because like you said, you know, it's always going to be a tough journey. It's not always going to be perfect. And I think that's something a lot of us get caught up in, is like trying to be perfect and then not feeling good when we fall short of this unrealistic goal we have for ourselves. But I think if you can channel that feeling, you know, it's inevitable. You know, sometimes you're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel those things, especially the more you get put on your plate. You know, like you said, it's a good thing to have a lot going on. And But along with that comes a lot of responsibilities and a lot of anxiety, you know, especially as we get older and bills pile up. You know, it feels like every year my monthly expenses have gone up. But all you can do is, you know, that can't make you shut down. You know, you can't get too caught up in those feelings. It has to put a fire under your ass, you know, and all you can really do is put together a plan of how to get out of this situation and how to move forward and grow. And as long as you can channel that feeling and use it to motivate you instead of tear you down, I think you'll keep trending in the right direction. You know, it's inevitable to feel that way, but I think it's what you do with that feeling that separates the people who, you know, can do big things and move forward, and the ones who, you know, struggle under pressure.
Yeah. And I guess on one hand I say that, and on the other hand, like, I guess I'm lucky. I only have these days probably twice a month. You know, twice a month
that's pretty solid, I think.
I think it is. It's just a shit day, you know.
And what do you do when you feel that way? Like, how do you combat it?
We say it all the time, actually. My mind is simple. I'm either going to keep having shitty days, or I'm going to go at the shit that's making me have shitty days, right? So I usually say 1 day every 2 weeks, because that's when everything kind of catches up and comes to a head. Yeah. And then I have that day where I'm like, okay, for the next 2 weeks, I got to do X, Y, Z, you know, and I have this on my plate. You know, Paige and me are on two different wavelengths sometimes, because she's like a big head planner, like plans far ahead. I got maybe the next 10 days stuck in my head. Like, that's the way I run my schedules. It's not good or bad. It's the way I run things. So about every 2 weeks, those days, that short-term kind of progress catches up, and I feel it. Right. And the way I deal with it is, I have that shit day. I realize I have that shit day. I talk about it if I talk about it, and then I move forward. Yeah. There is no wait period. When I did fight depression in my life, I found that I let that wait period extend and extend. And that shit will spread like wildfire. It will not stop. It's a downhill rolling momentum.
And it snowballs.
And it just snowballs. And then, just like good opportunities happen to you when you're doing good things, bad opportunities happen when you're in a bad way. You know, you'll have a friend that's trying a different drug, and you're like, dude, I'm in such a shitty mood. I'll try it. Why not? You know, I want to feel something different, which is how a lot of people get stuck on and addicted to drugs.
Or you even just continue that chain reaction of that thought process, you know? Like, when you're in a shitty mood and you're embracing the shitty mood, you know, being in a bad mood every now and then is inevitable. You know, I'm not going to pretend like, because I practice the law of attraction, I'm smiles and rainbows 100% of the time. But being able to, like, shorten that length of time that you embrace the shitty mood, you know, and just trying to bounce back, you know? I think too many people get caught up in, man, I had a bad day, and then they want to just talk about that and sit in that bad day and extend it, you know? Like, I think it's good to talk about it, and it's good to get it out like you're doing right now. But then I think after this podcast is over and this episode's done and you've aired it out, you're going to be in a great mood, and then now the bad day is over, you know? It's behind you. And that's how it needs to be, you know? You can't, like, go to bed feeling shitty about your bad day, because I guarantee you wake up tomorrow feeling probably shitty again. And it's just, when you focus on those negative things, you're going to notice even more negative things, you know? You're going to wake up the next morning, burn your fucking breakfast, and be like, oh my God, we're starting another one of these days, you know? Like, it's just, like I said, it snowballs. And as it rolls down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you have that negative thought process, it kind of can do the same thing. You'll notice more and more negative shit around you when you're stuck in that mood, you know? And the sooner you can kind of snap yourself out of it, I think, the sooner you have a better day.
Progression. I'm going to parallel this to a conversation we had actually on our last Boys Only episode on another sector of life, which is relationships. And exactly how we're saying we snap each other out of our mood in a relationship, this is how you got to deal with problems and arguments, in my opinion, right? I had an 87-year-old client last year, and we just get to talk and we have some cute conversations. And I said, he was married. It's so cute. His wife passed, but he still like talks about her. Like, he's like, yeah, my wife, it's the cutest thing in the world. Right. He literally talks as if she's in the next room over. Right. And I asked him, I said, you know, what would be your tip to someone who wants to get engaged soon? And at the time I hadn't been engaged yet, and you know, found the love of my life. He goes, never go to bed angry at each other. Right. And whenever I heard you say, like, okay, you're going to, air this out, talk about it, and then go and have a decent night and wake up tomorrow happy.
Right.
That parallels to relationships as well.
100%.
Right? I'm not a relationships expert by any means. Pete's been in really good relationships in his life and has learned from each and every one. But I've really only been in one long-term relationship. I have kept every single friendship in my life that, me and my boys and best friends, we've been with each other forever. I never burned those bridges. So I feel like I'm pretty good at relationships. But I've never had a long-term, relationship where I'm in love with someone. Mm-hmm. And when we reach a problem, we reached a problem yesterday. We talked about it, and I would not leave the store parking lot without us finishing that conversation there, figuring it out there, and moving on.
Right.
And to dive deeper into that, the conversation was about, we're doing engagement pictures.
Right.
Engagement pictures, like flowers, is something that I don't really have an opinion about. Okay, I'm down to do them. Yeah. But it's one of those things where it means the world to her. Right. It doesn't mean much to me. Right. And here's where I fucked up as a partner. Just because it doesn't mean that much to me doesn't mean I have to treat it like that. I have to treat it like it means the world to me because it means the world to her.
Nice.
Right? And so when we're having this conversation, because we had it for 30 minutes. We were in and out of Target. We were trying to buy outfits, coordinating with each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm in a Halloween costume store. I feel like I'm throwing on colors. I'm like, this is not me anymore. Right. I'm just a simple guy. And to her, at the end of that, she was exhausted and tired and frustrated because, again, it meant the world to her and I wasn't treating it that way. So we had a conversation in the car about how the whole thing happens, and I have to explain to her that it doesn't mean that much to me, and she has to explain how it did. And at the end of the day, I literally said to her, I understand where you're coming from, and let's move on.
Yeah.
Boom, it was done, squashed there. And the same shit happens in relationships where they let shit settle. Right. They don't talk for a few days or whatever it is. Yeah. And then cracks start to happen, Right.
And just like what I was saying with the negative mindset, I think the longer you let that tension and that stigma linger, the worse it gets, The sooner you just nip it in the butt and establish where the miscommunication was, first of all, the sooner the problem's resolved, but also the sooner you both stop thinking about it, and she's not sitting there coming up with all these conclusions of why you don't give a fuck, and questioning these things, and just thinking shitty for however long it goes on for, days would be terrible, But there's definitely relationships like that where they do shit like that. But I think the sooner you can communicate about it and just squash that, I mean, obviously it's the best scenario,
And I think it's okay to realize that people are different people, it happens in friendships and it happens with relationships as well. You got to realize that you're two different people. And when you're with each other 24/7, like we are a lot, that two people are going to have two different opinions, two different ways to handle situations, two different whole lives, so.
I think the way you said it was perfect in your realization that because it means the world to her, it doesn't mean it has to mean the world to you, but you need to treat it like it does.
Exactly.
And, it kind of goes hand in hand with what you're saying, where you can have two different opinions. She doesn't have to make you care about that thing. She doesn't have to convince you that it should mean a lot to you, but you just need to understand it means a lot to her.
Correct.
And that being said, can you give a fuck about it?
That's right.
And it's that simple. She doesn't have to change your opinion, but you just have to see her side of things and meet her in the middle.
Correct. And I'll say this too, Paige, I 100% told her in the end of the day, I recognize this because she doesn't ask for much. She's not a type of partner where it's a big deal every weekend. She's just so down to earth and so chill. Yeah. So I need to realize that when she is talking more about a subject or she is really into something, putting my foot in the sand, saying break. Okay, here's what I got to do. I got to recognize that,
right.
So
it's great that you identified that. That's a huge step.
Because we live together, and when you live, especially when you live with someone, being pissed is tiring. It's
100%. Why do you want to live like that?
Honestly, it's so funny because we joke around so much as a couple, but I have to act mad. You know what I'm saying? I have to be pissed and can't crack a smile.
Mad.
Act on look on my phone I'm scrolling act like it's not the only thing I'm thinking about.
Scrolling.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, Pete, right?
I don't know if I've done that.
What do you do when you're fake mad with Josie?
I don't think I fake mad, dude.
Are you a not talker, fake mad?
Yeah, 100%. I get quiet. Yeah.
All right.
Almost like you said on a previous episode, like you'll know when I'm mad because I just kind of
stop
shut
talking.
up,
And
I'm thinking.
Go back to your corner and just chill.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna yell at anybody, I'm not one of the. I don't get angry, but like you'll just know that I'm upset.
Chilling.
Yeah.
We're literally the same with that, Pete. Honestly, I don't think I've ever screamed at anyone in an argument in my life. Yeah. Like in a not a joking manner.
It usually doesn't do you any favors in the argument,
Nothing.
The one that wins is usually the most calm and collected.
One, yeah.
You sound a lot more logical when you're talking in a normal voice too.
And I found that I did know some back to the couple saying, I did know some couples that literally just enjoyed like arguing. I think it was like a game to them, we all know those couples.
Blows my mind,
yeah. It's like, who could win tonight? Okay, let's just start an argument.
Right. But we talked about it previously. I don't understand the intentional toxic relationship, the couple that knows they're toxic and for some reason does it anyway. I don't get it. I also want to just preface this with, I love that you knew you were going to talk about that topic just now. And before we started recording, you're like, hey, Paige, you can come sit in here and hang out with us if you want. He was willing to have that conversation with her right there in the room.
Dude, I did not know I was going to segue into that.
Okay. Well, I was trying to give you props.
But I didn't mean to say that, right?
Respect.
Yeah, I love you, babe. I was trying to get one back for yesterday. But listen, every relationship's work. No relationship's perfect. I don't give a fuck what social media or anyone else would say. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. And find someone that's worth working. That's what I always say,
Last time, or maybe like 2 weeks ago when we were over here recording, you had forgotten to get her a Diet Coke, and you got one for yourself, and she came home and saw you drinking a Diet Coke, and you're like, oh, here, babe, you want some? And she was like, oh, you forgot to get me one, huh? I never forget to get you one. And Nick was like, fuck. And I was like, oh, shit. And he goes, Pete, this is the most serious argument you're ever going to hear between us. I think that says a lot about your relationship, too.
Dude, it's so lighthearted, man. And, I'm not saying that that's how you have to have your relationship.
Right.
But, we don't argue because, usually I either sarcastic asshole my way out of it with, a joke. Or it's so light, dude. And when I literally say that that's our craziest arguments of fuck, I didn't get Paige a Diet Coke at Publix, It is, and we giggled it off, and then I think she giggled it off.
One? That's crazy. I never forget to get you one. That's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. I never forget to get you one.
And I had guests over and shit. I'm like, damn, this is not the time. Take my fucking Diet Coke.
This is not the
time. Immediately a cold sweat comes down.
Good for you guys.
I got to put an emergency Diet Coke around here somewhere.
Yeah, you
literally
should have a stash. Or do like she does and buy your snacks on Amazon.
Just have a hoard of them in a closet. Yeah. So that was kind of the whole heavy, I guess you could say heavier part of the segment, but I wanted to dive into me feeling shitty. I wanted to dive into just kind of that whole, I will call it an inner peace talk or whatever you want to call it, but just how our lives are rolling, So,
you feel better now that you talked about it?
I do. I always do, man. Yeah. And I'm finding you're really, along with my other best friends, but the amount we talk now with the podcast, you're someone who's really comforting coming to and talking about it. You have such a non-judgmental way about just saying, this is what I would do. This is what I would do. So
thank you, man.
I appreciate that. You get referred to a lot as just kind of this cool, calm, collected guy that gives great advice and is a great person to talk to, and you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And, sometimes people think it only reflects on this guy off camera is one of the best guys you'll ever meet in your life.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
You deserve that. So, on this whole thing, to piggyback this, do you give me your opinion on bros saying I love you to bros?
I'm all for it.
Okay.
Big green light, Should I tell them about the notes? I feel like we got to throw that in there. It's pretty funny.
Cute.
So it's kind of cute. Me and Nick have, I don't know if you know this, but if you have an iPhone and on the Notes app, you can add another person to a note so that you both can collaborate on the same note, and one person can add things from their phone and you can add things from your phone, and you've got this collaboration of a list, So that's how me and Nick communicate subjects that we want to talk about on the podcast. And every time someone adds something to it, it gives you a notification Nick edited the notes. So I always like to go check it out when I get that notification and see what he's thinking. Not to
cut you off real quick. Yes. I didn't know this technology was available. So Pete grabbed my phone one day, did something real quick, handed it back.
Yeah.
So one day I'm on my phone, it says notes edited. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I go there and an invisible person is writing stuff.
Live?
I literally thought I was tripping out. And it was like accurate stuff to talk about. And so
Siri is crazy.
Yeah. She's blowing my mind.
She's fucking nailing
this bitch is reading my mind. But no, so you're not crazy if you've never heard of that before. He's a mogul. Keep going.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I could put you on. But anyway, Nick adds to the notes, and he just put in quotations saying "I love you" to your bros. And so I followed it up with "I love you too, bro." Added it to the notes.
So when I saw it the next day and I'm scrolling, I'm like, damn, did I write that twice or did he write that
He
back?
still hasn't understood the concept fully that it might just be me on the other end, I don't think. He hasn't figured it out.
But I was like, damn, that's kind of cute if it was him and it was him.
Yeah, man, it was me. But yeah, dude, I think I'm not like I'm a fan of saying I love you to your bros and I love you to your friends, but not like too much, you know? Like if you use it too much, then it sort of loses its meaning, you know?
Correct.
So there's a select few people that I say I love you to, and it's not like every time we hang up the phone, all right, love you, babe, you know, like whenever me and you talk on the phone. But, you know, Papo Taco, we say I love you all the time, man. Spencer, I was just on the phone with him on my way down here. I think we said I love you when we hung up.
What?
And I mean, not I love you. Actually, adding the I think makes a big difference. It was, all right, love you, bro.
I love you, bro.
I think when you add the I, it gets a little serious.
A little weird. A little sus.
Love you, bro. But yeah, it's all good.
So how many guys you think are on that list of love yous? 10 plus?
So the ones that, here's the other thing. The ones that I dish it out to first, you know, like I would say it to, there's probably 5.
Okay.
But also, if I receive it from someone that's not on that list, I'm not going to be like, thanks. You know, I'm like, love you too, bro. So on that list, maybe like 10 people that you might throw it out, including the 5 on that list.
Because as a bro, you can't not respond with I love you too, bro, when someone says I love you,
all
bro.
right, love you, bro. Thank you. Bet.
Peace.
Yep, good to see you.
I will say this, I think me and Pete have said the L word to each other, but we don't definitely do it every time.
Right,
you know?
It's not like OD, you know, it's just
like he was
sometimes we're really excited about a podcast.
Yeah. Like last week he called me, he was like, oh, I'm on my way. I was like, bet and bye. And then it was like, you know, so, but like if you're reaching for like an I love you in that type of conversation, like that's a little weird. Yeah, too much.
Sometimes we'll just go on a roll talking for a lot, getting real excited about something and then
boom.
Yeah, love you, babe.
But like whenever you have like, it's so funny whenever you get fucked up with your buddies too, and like you're all just having a great time, and the pat on the back, I love you, man. You're my boy. Yeah. Which is such a funny conversation to see when you're sober and like working. You know what I'm saying? So normalize saying I love you to your bros if you have some bros out there. Tell them you love them.
Spread the love. For sure. Do you remember when Young Thug was calling his homies babe?
No.
Oh, man.
I don't think I've ever followed Young Thug like that.
You know, I've never been like really followed him
Describe
super close
his
either.
look to me. Is that the guy with the red hair?
Oh, man. I mean, damn, you don't know what he looks like? Yeah, I wish we had our laptops. He's crazy looking. He looks like Lil Uzi Vert if he was like 6'4", though.
Lil Uzi Vert's the guy with the diamond in his forehead?
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
Looks pretty crazy. Yeah, he had red hair at one point for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, there was one point when he was like calling his homies babe. And that I think is a little weird. You know, I don't know if there's any real excuse for that one.
And again, like if you throw it out like once a day, you know, like maybe once a hangout, like, okay, kind of.
In what context?
Hey.
Imagine we were just out on the porch smoking. Hey, babe, you want to hit this again? Come on, when does it ever make sense?
You wouldn't call it out though, Pete, if you heard it. Would you call it out? Would you skirt with me?
I would assume you were just trying to be really funny and make like a sus
would
joke.
you fake giggle? Would you throw in a fake giggle, or would you not even acknowledge it? You wouldn't acknowledge it.
It would just depend how good it was.
It.
If you snuck it in there like in a funny way, you know, I'd give you the credit that was deserved.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to be upset, you know.
I'm going to test out this logic. I'm going to start.
I know it's going to come now. I know.
Next friend that comes over, what's up, babe? So all of our subjects today that we were wanting to talk about kind of jump right into the other. So the next one I kind of want to talk about is, do you believe in the institution of marriage?
What's that mean? I saw that on the board.
Do you believe that in today's society, two people should get married under God, and you know, like the logic of finding one person and spending the rest of your life with them?
Yeah, no, I think that's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, For sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with the people that don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But for me, like I've always said, like I'm a relationship dude. As long as you've known me, really, I don't spend much time single. I think I'm a relationship guy, and I'm grateful that now I found the one that I think is going to be that one, and I'm stoked for that day. It's definitely a thing that I want. Same with like kids and a family. It's like always been the future that I envisioned for myself. But again, there's nothing wrong with the people that don't want that either, I don't think. There's some people that say straight up, I'll never have kids, but also want to get married. They just know they don't want kids. And that's fine. And then some people know they want to be single forever and just slang dick, and that's fine too.
Listen, you want to slang dick? Slang dick?
I'm not going to tell you what to do with that thing. Babe.
I think it's funny because back to the articles, I saw an article that like millennials in the institution of marriage is kind of like a slow dying thing. And they were asking people, do you believe in the institution of marriage? And it's a valid question because, I think the baby boomers, their rate's at like about 50% divorce rate.
Right, yeah.
Meaning that 1 out of every 2 weddings we probably go to, it's probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
Which is trippy to think about now, right?
I almost feel like our generation might offset that though, because we just watched all of our parents get divorced, and it almost, I feel like, puts up a red flag of like, okay, well, if I do this, I'm going to make sure I don't do that, I feel like, I hope that that's the case, like you're saying. I hope that we watched all these divorces just happen in front of us and learn from that. I
agree. Here's the thing. I think it's generation. So I think our parents, our grandparents, knew that it was going to be shit, dealt with the shit, but didn't like quit. They were like, you know what? I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else to do. Right.
That's the guy you were talking about earlier whose wife died and he still acts like she's still there.
1,000%. 1,000%. They were going to fight, bicker, scrap through the whole thing.
Right.
Our parents, they hit the same roadblocks, but then they saw opportunity to like, I don't know, go out and socialize and exactly. So, I think we saw that and said, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to do, if I want to get all that socializing and stuff out, I could do that, but I'm going to do it before I get married. I think our parents' generation, when they were 21, 22, 23, early, ages, met someone that was pretty cool, pretty chill, and then boom, went right to it. Yep. And I think social media kind of has something to do with that. I think that a lot more people communicate these days, but I'm hoping and praying that, even to the relationships that have been high school sweethearts, that everyone kind of got that out of your system, or if you don't have it in your system, that's great. Yeah. And then they can move on with one person. Right. I'm praying that way. It would break my heart to know that these weddings I'm going to, that one in every 2 are going to get fucking divorced.
It could easily go the opposite way of what I just said, I guess, where some people grow up and be like, my parents did that too, and they don't feel bad about getting divorced because they watched their parents do it, sometimes multiple times, get remarried and divorced again. So, I mean, I guess it really just depends, it could go either way. We either learn from it or we just repeat it because we think it's okay now.
What does scare me is in today's technology world, it is so easy to like cheat and to like, form relationships with people you don't even know. I mean, it's
become almost normalized, like a side chick is like a common term, a sneaky link is like a thing, it's like kind of nasty. It's stupid how normal it is to be like a dog. And like that's the other thing, girls want to be savages, like you're a bad bitch if you're a savage. Yeah. I'm like, what's not like fuck? It's not like that. What happened to nice girls? I'm over here talking about slinging dick there.
That's true. But if you're someone that's like Pete said, not against marriage, but again, to those people who want to be polygamous their entire life and be in different relationships, and I realize that. And if you realize that, fuck yeah, that's great, But I think our generation really did realize like what you said, and I think we're in for the fight. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot. I know she's worth it though. We're going to have amazing times together. So yeah, just the whole institution of marriage, I thought was a crazy time.
Hopefully it makes a comeback.
Yeah, I really, the family needs to have a comeback, bro. In our world today, I feel like a tight knit family and that love.
Now, let me ask you this: how do you feel about bringing a kid into the world right now? Don't consider your personal side of things, financial side of things, but just bringing a child into this current state of the world with COVID and everything weird going on, and school being half online, half in person, wearing masks. Like, how do you feel about bringing a kid into the world in its current state and that being like what they grow up knowing right now?
Tough, very tough. I think in general, I would not be a helicopter parent. I think I'm gonna be a chill dad. My dad was pretty chill with us.
Mm-hmm.
There was a law of the land, right? And you know, he would fake bring out the whip, like the belt, like he'd snap it, but like never like. There was a law of the land, and he never hit us ever, you know. But we knew what to do and not to do. And then, you know, there was the other side of it where there was, you know, kids running rampant, you know, and all over the place. So, you know, moving forward with that, I need to raise my kids in today's society. They're gonna have to have a tight clan if you want. I'm not going to say control your kids like that and be a helicopter parent, but with so many opinions, literally you can go on Google and Google like, does COVID give you herpes? And there'll be an article for COVID giving you herpes.
Right. You
and
can
there'll
Google
be an article,
anything to make it true.
There'll be an article right below it of an article that says it doesn't give you herpes, right? So it's scary because in today's society, you kind of have to be a helicopter parent because the kid can get information from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I were to raise a kid in today's society, dude, I have a lot of people that work in the public school system, and that's a fucking shit fest right now, to say the least. And I feel bad for all these teachers and administrators because they're dealing with a lot of shit right now. Yeah. And shout out to you guys. But I don't know if I'd look at the private sector of schools. I don't know. I'm not a private school guy. Right.
And I felt like when we were in school, the private school kids were worse than us, right?
They were kind of weird. Like, and not weird, but like you either had money. Right. Or you know, like there was Meyer Middle School, which was Jewish people, which I love my Myers. Shout out my Myers school. Yeah. But like there was specific private schools. Benjamin had money, but all like my friends growing up, majority of them were public school people for sure.
Right. And by worse than us, I meant like they partied harder and like did bad shit. You know, I'm sure they were very nice people, but like they had money and like those kids were doing coke in or some of them, you know, were doing coke in high school when I had never even seen coke all throughout high school. You know, like.
Because the money.
Yeah, the money, right.
So I would be torn. You know, Paige and I would have to have a lot of discussions about what route we want to go down and whatnot. But to answer your question, I'd probably be an extremely protective parent in the world today if I were to have a kid. Would I want a kid right now? No, I'm not going to. I wouldn't. Yeah. Do I think it's going to be that much better in 2-3 years? Honestly, bro, no. You know, I think in today's society and the way we're going, everyone has so much access to information and giving information or what we think is information. So I think at this point, you really got to, you know, the way algorithms work on these social media things, you got to make sure your kids are putting good things in front of their eyes and not going down wormholes of whatever it is.
That's tough to control.
It's very hard. So
I think my goal when I become a parent is to be one of those parents that like
has open conversations
and communication with your kid. Your kid feels comfortable telling you about everything and talking to you about stuff because then there's no way to control what they're absorbing. You know, like you can't be around them all the time. When they go to school and they've got their phone and you're not around for 8-10 hours of the day, they can watch whatever the fuck they want. You know, you can't control it. But the only way you can really steer them in the right direction is if they feel comfortable enough coming back to you and talking to you about the things that they're seeing and confused about, you know, or
hey, Daddy, this old man messaged me on Facebook today.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
Like that type of shit.
Everything. You know, I was the type of, my parents didn't know about a single relationship or anything all through high school. You know, I didn't talk to my parents about anything. But then, you know, once I got into college and once I got in trouble, that was really the like turning point was once I got arrested and like
you had to open up.
Everything came out, you know, like they didn't really know about anything before. I was good at hiding it and I don't know, they weren't paying too much attention. You think you're hypological, how do you say it? Pathological liar?
Pathological liar?
No, my parents at that time were alcoholics and just not paying attention, you know, and I just slept at my homies' houses every night, you know, like I lived at Blake Coriotti's house. And
they were chill about that?
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck.
Really?
Yeah, they just didn't care. Once they got sober, everything changed, you know? But at that point, I was a senior in high school, and I was about to be on my way out, you know? And we had our falling out a little bit, but my parents also split up at that exact time. When they both got sober, they also split. And so my mom kicked me out because I bought the motorcycle and was also getting in, you know, a lot of trouble at that time. She knew what I was doing. And my mom kicked me out, so I went and lived with my dad in West Palm. And that's what brought me from Palm Beach Gardens to West Palm.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Really?
I got kicked out when I got the motorcycle.
What? That was going into senior year of high school?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. And that's what brought you to Bradley's and all that shit?
Right. So my dad lived in
a
downtown
condo,
West
right?
Palm, right, in the Slade downtown. And, you know, I had always had a job. You know, I was working at CG Burgers when I lived in Evergreen. And then
you and Nikki V.
Right, exactly. When I moved to West Palm, I mean, I wanted to work in West Palm just because that's where I was going to be living. But also I was kind of stoked, you know, like I want to go get a job at one of these bars or something. So I went all up and down Clematis applying to places. Bradley's was the first place I walked into. And, yeah, I was legit 17 years old probably and started working in the kitchen there. And that's where it all started.
Pete, I never knew that. I never knew that. Or maybe I did, but I haven't heard it in 10 years. That's crazy. Okay, so your parents, when did they get sober?
Around like my senior year in high school, probably.
Really? Mm-hmm. And what was the catalyst for that?
I think they knew it was kind of going off the rails. You know, I think they had a problem for a really long time. You know, like they had been alcoholics for a really long time, but like functioning alcoholics. You know, my parents also were pretty successful at some points in my life. Yeah. Like around 2007 when there was that market crash, my parents had been for years buying foreclosure houses, flipping them. My mom's super like artistic and creative like I am. So she would like paint the houses and decorate them and shit. My dad's very handy and construction oriented. So he'd fix everything up and they would just buy these shitty foreclosure houses, flip them, make a couple $100,000 on a flip and do that over and over and over again. And, which was like a business model that a lot of people were doing at that time and now are doing again today. But in like 2007 when that market crashed, we had like 11 homes or something. Yeah. And then all of a sudden went from having a bunch of assets to owing money on all these homes. Right. And we went from like being pretty well off, I think. I was young at that time in 7th grade. We went from having a lot of money to being like broke, literally, you know? And I remember that probably being the point when my parents started to go downhill, you know, with their addiction. Because before, I think they were always drinking a lot, but had so much to do, you know, and we're sort of motivated by the money too. So they probably kept their shit together. I think there's a lot of functioning alcoholics out there, you know, that ride that line pretty close. But when they lost everything, that's probably when they went over the deep end a little bit. And I mean, between that and my senior year, which was 2013, was a long time, you know? So it was like years of their relationship not being great and, you know, a lot of fighting around the house and, you know, witnessing that as a kid. I remember that's why I was straight edge going into my freshman year of high school, because I had witnessed my parents be raging alcoholics my whole childhood and like fight and punch holes in the walls and throw things and break things. And that, you know, was something that stuck with me. And I knew even at that time that it was because of the alcohol, you know, and I was like, fuck, I mean, I don't want to be like that. Look at these idiots. Like, what are they doing? And that was what kind of made me say at a young age, like, I never want to drink. I have no interest in it. And I stuck with that for a few years, you know, going into my freshman year. You remember that was something I was preaching. But it was actually my mom that talked me out of it, as odd as that sounds, because I was begging to get a tattoo. I wanted a straight edge tattoo. Okay. A symbol for being straight edge is like having X's on the back of your hands. Or it's also like if you go into a club and you're underage and you're not allowed to drink, they put X's on your hands, you know? So it became like a symbol for straight edge. So I wanted to get praying hands with an X on the back of the hand, like on my shoulder or some shit, I don't know. But I was like 16 years old, you know, begging my parents to let me get this tattoo and thinking they should because it's symbolizing something great, you know? Why would your parents not want you to be straight edge? It's a great thing. So I really didn't understand it. It pissed me off that they wouldn't let me get this tattoo. But then one day my mom sits me down and she's like, look, man, like, I understand what you're saying and it is a great thing what you want to do. And I really hope you stick with it. It'd be amazing. But you're also really young. And I understand why you feel this way. I know you see, you know, me and your dad not being a great example when it comes to alcohol. And like, I get why you feel this way. But if you have enough willpower and control to not drink for the rest of your life and to say that now, then I think you also have enough willpower to just be a normal person. You know, you don't have to be like me and your dad if you drink alcohol. You know, there's a lot of people out there that drink alcohol on a normal level and are normal people. And I don't want you to miss out on that for the rest of your life because I let you get this tattoo when you're 16 years old. Yeah, exactly. So I think if you're strong enough to never drink for your whole life, then you're also probably strong enough to just be a normal person and not be like me and your dad. And I don't want it to be on my shoulders that I kept you from doing that because I let you get this tattoo when you were too young. And good for her. I really respected that, you know, and it resonated with me. And as weird as it sounds, my mom talked me out of being straight edge, and I flipped the switch almost that day. You know, I think I had the conversation where I really wasn't even excited about drinking. I wanted to smoke weed, though. You know, I knew a lot of people smoking weed. Brennan Brown was smoking weed in Spanish class next to me every day. And I was like, all right, bet, fuck it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you would 100% got the tattoo if she said, okay, go get it.
Oh, I wanted it so bad. I would have got it. And I'm also convinced that if I would have had the tattoo, I would have stuck with being straight edge. Because, I mean, I was motivated.
That's a bold claim.
It is, but I also would have felt like a fucking idiot with a straight edge tattoo on me and not being straight edge, you know?
Could have covered it up.
I guess. Yeah. But I had a lot of reasoning behind wanting it, you know? And I'm pretty confident I would have stuck with it. I am one of those people that I do have a lot of like self-control and willpower. I definitely have an addictive personality. You know, they say that's a genetic trait, you know, and I 100% see it in myself that I got it. But I also remember all those things from being a kid, you know, and I check myself all the time, you know. It definitely keeps me in line.
I'll tell you what, the only people I really know in my life that don't drink today have never drank.
Really? Like, just never started.
Either didn't like the taste of it. Exactly. Just never really like got into, I guess, the other aspects of drinking, you know? Right. And I'm not going to say drinking is like the best thing in the world, but if you really do have those euphoric times drinking, they're amazing times, man, you know, and there's a lot of shit times that come with drinking too.
Absolutely.
That definitely outweigh. No, I wouldn't say outweigh, but, you know, teeter-totter the good.
It depends a lot on that self-control. Exactly. You know, it's really in your hands.
Exactly. But wow, this conversation's gone all over the place.
Yeah, dude, I kind of went on a roll right there for a little bit.
I love it.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
We every episode dive more and more deep into our families and our past, and man, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to know what blows my fucking mind?
Mm-hmm.
DoorDash.
Why do you say that?
Because those motherfuckers charge so much money on top of the food. Yes. It is insane, bro. The meme where it's like order a $5 meal and the total is like $56, that's literally not that far off from reality. I think we got something the other day and it was like total of $20. And I think I paid a total of like $47.
Yeah.
And I was like, my ego was like hurt. Like my pride was hurt. You know what I'm saying?
What's more crazy is how many people still use the service. You know, they're booming.
I think they should partner with a medical marijuana distributor or something like that. Because
True Leaf delivers.
What?
I have a dispensary that delivers.
Really?
Yeah. And actually, I hope someone from True Leaf listens to this because there is a serious flaw in their business plan here. Because there's a fucking delivery car that says True Leaf right on the side of it pulling in my neighborhood. And there's a little old lady driving it.
You're
joking. If I was not a good person, I'd mask up and go and rob the little old lady driving the weed truck. You know? Like, what are they thinking?
You're joking.
It's a little Sprinter van with a fucking True Leaf sticker on the side of it, and the tiny little lady that hopped out to deliver the products.
But don't you feel it's almost like a little bit more sketchy, Pete, if she was just in an all-white van, jumped out with a little bag, ran upstairs, jumped back in?
I think people these days would assume it's like a fucking bootleg Amazon truck or something. I don't know.
See, if I was the owner of True Leaf, I would put True Leaf and then like roses around it or something, you know, like make it look.
But to a bad person, it still is a weed delivery truck.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, it's not like that thought crossed my mind because I'm a good guy. I would never rob a little old lady, but someone out there would, you know, and like, shit, I don't know how much stuff is in there. Maybe they've literally only got the one order, but for someone that one order would make their fucking day, you know.
Maybe she stays strapped.
And maybe, but like. Maybe, but what the fuck?
We did a little grandma came out spread. Yeah, right. Wow, this is but
a little bit of a flaw in that business model, I think.
So P, y'all don't leave your fucking house, bro.
I don't leave my house for nothing.
Because y'all DoorDash your fucking
This is the only time I leave my house. When I come here is the only time I leave my house.
You fucking get groceries delivered.
Yeah.
Wow. So you are a fucking homebody through and through.
Yes.
I would lose my mind, Pete. I
love
am
it.
Butterfly. I gotta fucking be out in the sun, dude.
I walk the dog like 5 times a day.
5 times?
Probably.
Sweet heavens. What do you do, like a quarter mile? Like a little down the block?
Just around the neighborhood.
What is that, like 3 miles?
Nah.
Bruce has got to be fucking like a full horse at this point.
Yeah, man, buddy's swole.
Start running that dog.
Well, so I told you he had the kidney stones, right?
You're wiping those paws 5 times a week, okay? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
I do. I wipe his paws after every walk. I swear. Bro, I swear. But it's a thing to like help prevent him from forming the kidney stones again. We really got to like let him pee all the time. So I take him out as often as I can.
Yeah. And he pees every time?
Yeah.
How about you just give him less water? Is that fucked up?
No, it's good for him to have the water to prevent the stones too.
Okay.
We also just switched him from dog food to feeding him fucking chicken and rice. We're meal prepping for the dog.
Oh,
we don't even meal prep for ourselves, bro. We just
Bruce
meal
is
prep for Bruce.
spoiled. At this point,
He's got some health issues. We're trying to keep the man alive.
But you literally meal prepping for his ass?
I'm dead ass. JoJo cooked. She got like the Costco thing of chicken breasts and cooked like 8 Tupperwares of meals for Bruce. He's got meals for the rest of the week.
I cannot wait to meet this dog. And if he does not talk to me or give me
He's
serious
special,
eye
bro.
contact,
You're going to see it. You'll understand. I can't wait for you to be a dog dad because I can't wait for like a year. It's not going to happen right away. But like a year or 2 from now, when you love the fuck out of that dog, you'll understand what I mean about it understands you, you know? Like it knows what you're talking about.
I believe you're
dog
right.
people out there
I
will vouch.
believe you're right because every person I've talked to, including like my sister and whatnot, like they weren't dog people until they got a dog.
Right. Same with myself.
Which I get. I'm a little scared to become that guy because I'm like a sarcastic asshole and I roast that guy.
You wore a dog dad hat like 2 episodes ago. You're already that guy.
I did. I know I'm gonna be that dad. Yeah, I'm gonna be that dad with the fanny pack and like, you know, I am that guy. But we pick up Charlie in 2 weeks.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So.
And what is Charlie? Female golden retriever? Is that right?
Yes, female golden retriever.
Cool.
And she's gonna be adorable and cute and a lot, probably a pain in the ass. And all you puppy owners listening right now are probably laughing your ass off because
DM Nick all the advice you got for a brand new golden retriever.
I'm just gonna
puppy.
throw treats at her.
Fanny pack full of treats.
I kind of want to take it serious and like train her. Paige is probably gonna go full trainer on her ass. So.
I mean, I think that's the best move.
Yeah.
Bruce is not fully trained, but like I wish he was. It'd be sick to just
like what's his skill level? Like roll over?
So he'll sit.
Uh-huh.
If you say paw, he'll shake your hand.
Okay.
He'll do both. You go other paw.
Every dog
shake
knows
the other.
paw. That's normal.
Well, you know, he's the only dog I really know. He'll lay down. If you tell him go get your toy, like we'll be laying in bed. Hey, Bruce, go get your toy. We've got a basket of toys by the door, and he'll run and fucking pick out a toy.
Oh, so he's smart as hell. Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. He knows what you're saying to him, and sometimes we'll be pissed off or like be like, Bruce, fucking get off of me, man. Like he lays on top of you. Like, Bruce, get off me. And he'll know that you're talking shit, and he'll turn around and like, and then walk away. Like, he fucking knows, bro, what I'm saying.
All right, bet.
He also does some really cute shit. Like, every time his mom leaves, JoJo.
Yeah.
Every time she leaves for work, he'll run and grab whatever article of clothing she left on the floor and then bring it over to me, and he just lays down with it in his mouth.
Aww.
Every single day when she leaves for work.
That's cute.
The moment the door closes, his like ears perk up.
Yeah.
He goes and grabs whatever clothing you can find of hers on the floor, and then he comes back and he lays down with it.
That's cute.
Every single day.
That's cute. That's
man,
fire.
special, man.
All right. Shout out Bruce. We talk about him every episode.
I know, dude.
You're such a cute dog, Dad. I'll tell you that.
Thank you, bro. I love it. He's my best friend, bro. I love that dog.
And that is, I think, the conclusion for today's episode.
I've got one little... you want to talk about amphetamine real quick? Because it's going to take 2 seconds.
Yeah, I want to talk about it because I have no clue what that means.
Exactly. This was something that was done through the collaboration notes app.
Okay. Oh, yes, I see this.
But, so, you know how you use caffeine on your Mac?
Correct.
So for those of you who don't know, if when we're like uploading these videos, sometimes it takes like hours for the video to upload because it's like big files and shit. And your computer tends to want to like go to sleep, you know, or the screen goes off and it sometimes interrupts your uploads. And so Nick put me on this app called Caffeine that
shout out Paige.
Paige really put us on, I guess. And it keeps your Mac from falling asleep. And so I was, you know, now that I've been doing a little clip editing and stuff on my Mac, for some reason, Caffeine hasn't been working on my Google Chrome. I don't know what's going on, but like it's just not working.
Okay.
So I started looking for other apps that do the same thing, and there's one out there called Amphetamine.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God. So I've been using Amphetamine.
Amphetamine's like a drug and Adderall.
That's what's an Adderall. Yeah. Amphetamine.
Methamphetamine.
Salts. And yes, methamphetamine as well. But yeah, on your prescription bottle for Adderall, it says amphetamine salts. And so my MacBook has been running it on amphetamine. And the other thing I thought was funny was like on caffeine, the increments of how long you can keep your computer awake for is like 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. For amphetamine, it was like 2 hours, 5 hours, 15 hours. Like
76 days. Yeah.
Never off.
Death. Overdose. Sorry, we shouldn't joke about that. But
but I just thought that was fucking hilarious. And I was going to just text you and be like, you will not believe what my new app is. Texas, but I figured it'd be way better to do it here.
Amphetamine. Cocaine I'll look up too.
Yeah, right, dude. I thought that was hilarious. There's an energy drink out there called cocaine. Spelled like cocaine.
How do you spell cocaine? Cocine?
Aine.
Okay. Coke. Yeah. Wow.
And there's an energy drink out there, literally cocaine.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
you
it
remember?
bang?
Well, I didn't actually try it. I was a little sketched out. But you remember Soup to Nuts in downtown Abacoa?
Oh, they sold it?
Yeah. Is that still there?
Soup to Nuts is gone, bro. They done been gone. Yeah.
They used to have cocaine.
I swear they were like selling cocaine, like the drug.
No, the can.
Oh, I would believe
Energy
the drug
drink.
though. I would, Yeah. It was just a weird place to have a store called Soup to Nuts. You know what I'm saying?
It's a weird name for a store in general.
Soup
Soup to nuts. What?
Shout out Soup to Nuts. If you know, you know. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today's episode. I love these episodes, and I get so fired up for them because they are so all over the place. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I love that. You know, it's just such a good conversation, and that's why it's just when you have a guest on, it's a little bit tougher because obviously we want to involve a guest in their life and their past as well. So when the boys jump on, it's just we're able to just talk about everything, and I love that. You got anything for them?
I don't think so.
Guys, thank you for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. If you have not hit that button, please do. Please like the video. Please share it to your friends. It means the world to us. Yeah. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Good shit, Nick. Dap me.
That was great.